Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. And boy, is it a moment by moment, day by day thing, right? It's a constant choice that we make to decide to trust God instead of stressing out. We're going to have stress. In this life, you will have tribulation. Jesus told us that. That's one of the promises we don't put in them little promise boxes. You remember those promise boxes in probably the 60s and 70s? They probably started in the 30s or 40s, right? And you pull out a verse that was a promise. You never see that one in there, right? In this world, you will have tribulation. And we don't want to talk about that promise, but we're promised trouble. We're also promised that God will be with us in the trouble. He'll be with us no matter what, right? And so we hold on to that too. So there's always a counter. So I was thinking about having a full plate this morning, and I thought of how sometimes, like old school church potlucks, man, weren't those great? You get a little bit of everything, all this home cooking, those older ladies who really knew how to cook, and everything was good, and you put everything on your plate, and then you get back to your seat, and you start tasting stuff. This is an old trick I learned, is taste everything before you eat it, because you don't want to get stuck with something last. You don't want to save something that looks good for last and then it not be tasteful or tasty, right? And just go, oh, I gotta eat this. So my favorite one is there's all these little sausage balls, and they look so delicious, but you don't know they're sausage. And I don't really like sausage, and then you get it and you're just like, oh, this looks so good, and it's like, oh, what is this, right? We get our plate full though sometimes because it all looks good, and most of the time it is all good. And then it's either too much for us to eat, or it doesn't taste like we thought, and we don't have anywhere to hide it or conceal it, right? And so we're stuck with it. And in life, we can do the same thing because everything looks good. And we get too much on our proverbial plates because it all looked good when we were looking, but we didn't use discernment and wisdom when we were choosing, right? And so then sometimes we have to back out of those things. And we get our plates full, and then we get stressed out. And maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to ever do this, right? But it's like we get our plates full, and then we're stressed out. And then it's just as stressful to cut things that we know we don't need or shouldn't have put on our plate to begin with. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know all that. So I was thinking about that and having our plates full, and I was actually thinking, running through Bible characters in my head of who had a lot of stuff on their plate. Well, I thought of David. Of course, David had a lot of stuff on his plate. I mean, he was running from Saul and building an army and preparing to be king, all these things. Joseph had a lot on his plate too, right? I mean, so a lot of our characters did. But then I ended up with Paul, and I was actually first started in 1 Corinthians 12, where he lists all the things, all the struggles that he'd had, the beatings, being stoned once and left for dead, the shipwreck, the care of all the churches. So he felt called to pray for the churches every single day, and all these things, and how God said, my grace is enough. And I thought about him. And then I ended up in Romans 8 from looking at all that, because I was like, it's talking so much here in Romans 8. It says this, it says, can any of that basically separate us from God's love? Who can separate us? What can separate us from God's love? From the love of Christ, it says in verse 36. It says, can tribulation separate us? Make Christ not love us? No. Distress, we have that sometimes, right? Can persecution separate us? No. God's still going to love us. Famine, God forbid, but no. Nakedness, God double forbid, but no. Peril, just struggles, danger, right? Or sword. And then it says, as is written, for all your sake, we are being killed all day long. We are as sheep being led to the slaughter. And then he says, but in all these things, as bad as it looks, as bad as it feels, as difficult as the circumstances are, in all these things, we are still more than conquerors through him who loved us. And then he goes through, he says, I'm persuaded. You can't talk me out of this. I'm persuaded that death, life, anything to come, anything in the past, powers, principalities, anything, no height, no depth, any created thing can separate us from the love of God. Nothing will make God. None of these things that we see, we feel, we have to work through, that get on our plate in life's plate, I should say it that way. None of these things are enough to make God not love us. He's going to love us, even if we filled our own plate and weren't supposed to. He won't stop loving us. He may reprimand us and he may tell us what we got to get rid of, but he's not going to stop loving us. And I love that about God. But as I was thinking about it, I thought, can we flip that around? Can we just flip it around and go, none of these things can make me stop loving God? It's that holds up a mirror to this, and because we're looking at it and go, God's going to love us no matter what, if we're famine or sword, or if we're in a battle or we're not in a battle, or we're in the depths, we're in the dark, we're in light. God's going to love us. That's wonderful. But are we still going to love him when we face those things? Because it's not an if, it's a when we go through the struggles of life. Tribulation, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, God forbid, peril, sword. Are we still going to love him? He's going to love us. That's a given. But flip that around. Am I still going to hold on to him when things go down the tube, so to speak? When things take a turn for the worse, and I thought they were going to go this way, or I thought they were going to go that way, and it didn't work out, and it went, oh my goodness, now what? Do we throw in the towel and say, yeah, I'm just not going to serve God anymore? Absolutely not. Isn't it amazing that in all these things that we go through in life, those are two things that don't have to change. God loving us will never change. He's never going to say, oh, never mind, that was too much for me. You put one too many things on the plate, the straw that broke the camel's back, nope, we're done. Yet as humans, sometimes we get that way. I know I've shared before that I've just said, I'm just not even going to pray anymore. And you know what? God gets the frustration behind that crazy statement that's not even true, right? But he gets the feelings of that moment. And he doesn't throw us away. He doesn't say, forget it then. I'm not going to protect you anymore. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm not going to reach out to you anymore. I'm not going to love you anymore. Okay, you don't get grace today. You don't get mercies either. I know they were new for everybody but you today. No, he doesn't turn all that off. He waits because he knows we'll be back. Because he knows us and he knows human nature, right? And so can we turn that around today and go and say it backwards? What can make me not love Christ? Can any of these things make me not love him? Tribulation? No, I'm still going to love God. Distress? We have plenty of that. But no, we still love God. Persecution? Horrible thing to have to go through. We still love God. Famine? Horrible time, right? To have to trust him for day-to-day food. In the middle of the wilderness, he fed the children of Israel. Matter of fact, I found a scripture in Psalm, I think it's 132, that I've been meditating on all weekend that says, he will abundantly bless your provision. I was like, I like that verse. So I'm still thinking about that. Even in the wilderness, he provided food for them. He is the provider, right? Nakedness, peril, sword. Can any of those things make me not love God? No, because don't we reach out to him from deeper in our hearts when things get tougher? We think of the story of Job, and the whole thing was, is he going to still serve you if you don't protect him like he thinks you should? And Job's like, I'm going to worship God anyway. While things were good, I worshiped God. While things were bad, I worshiped God. I'm going to worship God. I'm going to love God, period. So flip that around today and you're thinking, nothing can separate us from God's love. But are we determined? Can we be determined? Can we redetermine that we're going to continue loving him, reaching for him, chasing him, worshiping him, even when life looks a little bit messy or the plate got a little too full? I say we can. And I think God is so excited because we keep reaching for him, that we keep trying to learn about him, that we keep reading his word and putting it in our heart. So we keep working on that relationship. We keep working on loving him and wanting to walk with him and wanting to know him more. There is nothing that blesses the heart of God more than that. So keep it up, no matter how full the plate gets, no matter how rough things may look, no matter how good things may look. Keep it up, because we're looking at the flip side of this. In all these things, we're more than conquerors. Nothing can make me not love God, right? Now, that doesn't mean I haven't been mad at him. Let me clarify. There have been times I've been mad at him, but I always ran back to him. I can't help myself, right? So nothing can make him not love us. And we want to be just as determined that nothing can make us not love him. He's a great God. He's a good God. He's looking out for us. He's our provider, the shepherd of our soul, the keeper of our soul, the sustainer of our lives. He loves us, and we can love him back. That's why we're going to peace out, because he's got us, right? Peace out. Have a great day. I hope I said something that made sense. I'll see you again tomorrow.